Hope everybody had a great weekend. Questions?
Coach, is there one guy that you'd like to see step up, or maybe that's capable of stepping up in Doak's absence, or will it be collectively as a group?
No, it'll need to be collectively. You know, we played without Doak there for 4 games and actually did a pretty decent job during those particular games, but not great. And you know, we labored against New Mexico State, but played pretty good against Villanova, and you know, the lineup certainly didn't cost us a game against Arizona State, even though we lost. But we got to do. You know, Diedrich's not a 5, so we're gonna have to play him at the 5, and you know, he's much better when he can face and drive a guy or whatever than just, you know, root for post position. So we need to. We'll tweak some things of what we need to do. We don't have much time to do it, but it'll be a collective effort by everybody.
Before it was temporary. Now that it's permanent, does it change the way you do either rotations or schematically, because you know now, hey, this is who we are, instead of you knew he was going to come back?
Yeah, I think it will. You know, I'm still, I shouldn't say just but we're still trying to figure some stuff out. We do a lot of things that it doesn't appear like we do anything. We're one of those teams right now when we get out of kilter that we do a lot of things, but we don't do anything real well offensively. And so we need to kind of tighten that ship a little bit and probably reduce what we're trying to accomplish offensively, where the guys maybe can execute a few things differently than having, you know, we've got like 70 plays, believe it or not, or 60 plays, and you know, we don't run any of them really well. Maybe we can run 5 and actually run those well. So I think that would be something to try to simplify a little bit.
Last time you immediately wanted to go with Marcus. Is it a similar situation now?
No, I don't know yet. I don't know. We can play. You know, we're still going to play 2 bigs some. We have to. You know, but I would think that the majority of the minutes, if you're going to break it down, and this is what I've tried to do, is break it down. How many minutes in a game would you probably play 2 bigs, as opposed to how many minutes a game would you play 4 guards? And if the number is real high with the 4 guards, which it should be, you know, you don't have a lot of bench. You know, there's not a lot of bench for foul situations or things like that. So I think our opponent will dictate some of that, what we do. But you know, there's just some things we need to tighten up. We went into the season, and this is by fault to me, without question. We went into the season thinking our strength of our team would be playing 2 bigs and playing through Diedrich, who's our best passer, and Doak, who's our best low post scorer and everything. And now Diedrich's passing has been eliminated in so many ways, because he didn't have, you know, guys like Doak to throw it to on the block. So in our low post presence has been eliminated in some ways, but not totally. You know, we got to get David and Mitch where they're doing a good job in executing what we're trying to do, and we can do that. I mean, this is not a lost deal by any means, but it's certainly, you know, not the ideal situation to kind of have to revamp who you are, you know, after conference play starts.
With regard to that bench idea, if you do play a high percentage of 4-guard lineups, would you look at Ochai?
Yeah. We haven't made that decision, but just to be real candid with you, Ochai and myself and Mom and Dad, we've all talked about it, and I haven't made a decision to do that whatsoever, because if you bring him out, you bring him out to play him, and is he good enough? Absolutely, there's no question. But the reality of it is, Matt, it's a different pressure that he hasn't had a chance to experience any of it. You know, the games that he played in high school, even though he was a really good high school player, wasn't state championship games. I mean, and so your first taste is not even a Michigan State. Your first taste is going on the road in a hostile place and having to deliver. And he's been great in practice. He's gotten a lot better, but it's a different type of environment that he's never experienced before. So yeah, are we thinking about it? Absolutely. But have we made a decision yet? We have not.
If you look at some of the shortcomings that happened Saturday, which ones are most fixable?
I'd say the lack of togetherness and cohesiveness and leadership. You know, I mean, I hate to beat a dead horse, but Saturday we played awful, and they played really well. But even as bad as we were up 4 with 2.5 left in the first half. So they weren't great either in the first half. But I mean, we gave them at least probably 15 possessions where they didn't have to defend us. That so if you're going to win a game, they probably gave us 5. So let's say that's plus 10. Well, that's a chance between 20 and 30 points. So we just said we don't want it, just because we unforced errors, and so that was always obviously frustrating. But still, with all that being said, it's a single-digit game under 10. We won a lot of games where it's a single-digit game under 10. That's not a panic situation, but it was a different feel this time because we didn't really have anybody, kind of bring us together like we've had in the past. Hey, we played as bad against West Virginia last year as we did Saturday. We just had some seniors that flipped it, and we just didn't have any way to flip it the other day. Of course, the last 10 minutes against West Virginia, we played about perfect, though.
Is there any indication of anything that would make you hopeful on movement on Silvio's situation?
No, there's not. At this point in time, that I know about. But I know that the university is working hard and trying to put something together to bring a resolution to it. But that certainly hasn't occurred yet, and I'm not privy to all the information on timetable and stuff like that. So when I ask my daily deal, it's working on it, which is 100% accurate. We know that to be the case.
At any point, does that waiting get frustrating for you or for him?
Oh, for him? Oh yeah, he's crushed. I mean, he's crushed. And he'll be more crushed now because his partner can't play, and now he knows that his role could be bigger. But whether Doak plays, whether he does, that's totally isolated from Silvio. It's totally different. We would want him to be available and have the chance to do what he obviously loves to do, regardless of Doak's situation. But you could think that it could be a little bit more magnified now, obviously. But in my world, in my eyes, it's not. It's still the same situation that we're in, and people are trying to move forward with it. It's just not moving quite as quickly as what we had hoped.
What do you see long term for Doak now?
Yesterday when he was told, and when I was told what the deal was, I don't think it's the time where you say, well, you got this and that. Here's the bottom line: the kid's 19 years old. So if he enters the draft this year, he's still one of the youngest guys in the draft. Okay, even though he's a junior. So there's nothing with his biological basketball clock is ticking that he needs to hurry up and do something. So there's nothing like that. Even though in his mind, I've been here 3 years. So that is a positive thought. Obviously he would have options. He could go and then have it, hopefully put himself in position. He could return. That's obviously a case that he could do. This would never happen, but technically, he can get the year back, medical hardship. So technically, he could have 2, but that's not going to happen. So there's really no reason to worry about that. But I do know that is, we should not feel bad for us. We should just feel bad for him, because if you look at it, the kid hadn't played very many games since he's been here. I mean, what did he do? Play 11 games as a freshman and miss the whole season when he's a starter on a team that could win a national championship. And last year he gets hurt, at an opportune time, even though he toughed it out and came back and gave us a chance to go to the Final Four. And this year he plays 9 games on a team that's preseason 1 in the country, and we're undefeated when he plays, and it's a crushing blow to him, without question. And so I think he has options. We know he's going to heal, based on his other hand, and we know it's the time frame in which he'll take to heal. and those sorts of things. But for a 19-year-old, that's not the easiest thing to probably digest right now. It's probably too early to talk about the future because he's certainly not doing that.
Coach, when you were talking about the veteran leadership, I know you've spoken earlier this year about Devon and how advanced he is for a freshman and understanding what you want from him and all that. Is it fair to ask him to be that leader at this early of a stage in his career? What is fair to expect of him in that regard?
You know what? Is it fair that anybody is thrown into a position that maybe they're not quite ready for, but they still got to do it? Is it fair that somebody that's an intern at a position, at a job, and somebody quits and you have to put them in there for an important month-long period until you can hire somebody? Is it fair? Do you expect the same results? Well, absolutely you do. And so I think anything's fair. I do. I believe that, but it's also not easy too. So everybody could do more. Doak didn't give us that verbal leadership or anything like that, but he did give us kind of a security blanket when he was out there, and certainly we got to have somebody that is willing to get out of their comfort zone and go attack it. And I think that Devon is probably the best prospect to do that. So, and if you saw Devon when he was here in June to where he is now and his comfort level and things like that, he's made tremendous progress. But in order for us to get to where we want to go and have the year that we hope to have, he probably needs to do more. And is it fair? Maybe not, but maybe, but he's capable, but it's certainly something that he hadn't had a chance to be with Frank and Devontae and watch them. He hasn't had a chance to learn from others.
Coach Self, Brandon Schneider and his team just started conference play on Saturday. When your teams are in similar situations with depth, do you ever reach out to each other to see what worked, what might have not worked in a game setting as far as rotations?
No. So,
Bill, a lot of the focus will be on the offense, but defensively, you guys have been, at least statistically, been better with Doak, force more turnovers.
Yeah.
Better 2-point defense. How do you feel like you need to defend with?
I think that we've obviously lost. We didn't have great shot blockers, whatever, but Doak was a presence that at least people had to think about certain things. So you stop and think about it. Can we become totally opposite of what we've been? Can we become a charge-taking team? Can we become something that since we don't have shot blockers, can we become a team that's better positionally, that you can't get beat as much because you don't have the guy behind? Could we be a team that maybe soft presses and do some things to create activity, things like that maybe wouldn't be in our best interest if you're playing too big, stuff like that. So we got some stuff to look at, but I don't think we need to change who we are, but I think we can make some tweaks to allow us to have a different mindset defensively, at least in some situations.
Bill, somewhat lost through all this other news is that last 3 games, Q, I think, has stepped up to be our leading scorer. And can you talk about what he has done in jumping up to this step, and then maybe what he could do in jumping up to that next level?
Yeah, he's, I didn't want to downplay the other day, but, it's hard to get excited about somebody scoring some points when your team plays bad. I mean, bad teams have leading scorers. So that, and we were obviously a bad team on Saturday. But from a positive standpoint with him, he's seeing the ball go in the hole, he's shooting with more confidence. He finished a couple of tough plays around the basket. I think that he's on an uptick big time, and I think he's playing the best ball that he's played since he's been here. So that to me is very positive. The thing about it is the other day he didn't have much help. You take him away, and what were we? I could be off 3 for 15 from 3. I think we were 6 of 20. So the last 2 games we were combined 10 for 41, and that makes it hard on everybody because you go to Ames. I mean, I watched the Iowa State game, that we played against them here, and I just happen to remember what was on the bottom line. I mean, there's a point in time in the game where 13-25 from 3. You know, so it's not like, you know, it's you know, guys can just step up, space it, and made some shots last year. And we're never going to shoot that higher percentage as we did last year from three, but we're certainly a lot more capable of doing more than what we're doing, and we will. I have no problem stating that. I'm confident we will, but we still got to manufacture some things. So the things that we don't do quite as good, how are we going to make up for that in other areas? How are we going to score in transition? How are we going to get offensive rebound putbacks? You know, these are things that we were obviously laboring with that makes the other things magnified. Because if you did those things, and you know, those things aren't magnified much.
Obviously, there was a little bit of a different roster situation with like Vic and Doak last year when you guys did get Ochai. But thinking back then, what did you originally?
When we got Silvio? Or?
No, Ochai. Like in the spring, like what did you kind of imagine his role would be right away when you brought him in as a freshman?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't. I think he's going to be a really good player, and I'm not saying we're bringing him out. I didn't say that at all. But I going back to June, watching him, I thought he had a chance to be really good.
I was wondering about him. Is he an effective 3-point guy? Like if you ever did bring him back, would that be why, or would it be depth, or would it be?
Yes.
What's his threes like? What are his threes?
Gary.
What about the threes?
Yeah, he can make shots. Yeah.
What do you think of TCU's backcourt? Where do they rank in the league?
Well, I thought that Iowa State had by far the best guards we played against this year, by far. And Robinson statistically is better than anybody. He's averaging 9 assists a game. The ball's in his hands. He's really, really fast, and he's experienced. And then Fisher can do some things that score the ball and really been effective, even though he didn't play the last game. I thought that was only because he got his knee drained, so we expect him to play Wednesday. And Bain is, you know, having a good year. Bain's their leading scorer, so if I'm not mistaken. So their guards are good. I mean, you would look at the matchup on paper and say, you know, that may be a situation that obviously we need to be concerned with. They don't have Broniowski anymore to throw it into. But you know, they've got enough guys and Miller's having a good year, obviously. But they got enough in Samuel. But they got enough guys that you got to defend the post. But primarily they are spreading it, and then they are putting the ball in Robinson's hands and letting him make plays, and that's hard to guard.
It's just big picture. What are your thoughts on where Lagerald is at right now, and what you'd like to see out of him Wednesday?
You know, he's doing okay. You know, he's not shooting the ball like he shot it earlier, but you knew that would happen. So you know, he was on such a roll earlier that nobody gets on rolls like that. But we know he's got it in him. So you know, at any point in time, he can make, you know, 4 or 5 in a row and totally change a game. But he's doing fine. He's doing fine. He needs to. One thing that I think we can all get better at is, when things aren't going particularly well individually, he's got to still figure out a way to stay engaged as much. And that's hard sometimes for scorers and shooters to do, but that's certainly the case with our team, because we're kind of a little bit inconsistent, obviously, shooting the ball, so everybody needs to stay engaged.
Last year at the Big 12 tournament, it was so obvious when Silvio was able to play that Doak could kind of help him and work with him. Can he have that role with Dave and Mitch?
I think he can. He won't initially.
Okay.
I mean, surgery will be some point in time this week, so he'll be gone, and then after surgery, you know, with school being out, you know, I imagine he'll be back here, but you know, there's a chance he could go home for a few days or whatever. So he'll have a role, and he'll do a great job with that. But right now, it's probably too early for him to try to, you know, coach those guys on a daily basis. Even though I know he will once he gets back and kind of gets back to normal. Right now, it's not normal for him.
Coach, you always made put a lot of importance in things like toughness and attitude, and is this game, you know, after the bad loss this weekend and now, you know, losing Doak, is this a keystone moment for these guys to see where they are?
Keystone may be too strong, but you know, the thing about it is, it's certainly a big game. I mean, it's a big game because we're playing a team. I haven't got the polls. I haven't seen the polls. Did TCU crack the top 25 today?
Yes.
Okay, so we're playing another top-ranked team, and we're playing a team at home, and we don't need to say that we're shorthanded anymore. We're not shorthanded. This is who we got. We don't need to say, well, you don't have Doak, you're playing short. We're not playing. This is who we got. So we need to change our mindset that you know, what we need to do in order to be successful. And I think what we need to do to play well isn't any different than what we've been stressing all along. I just think it's magnified now a lot more. And we got it in us. I mean, there's no doubt about it. This team's got a lot of pride. We got it in us.
Do you think David has a chance to kind of develop over these next couple of months, kind of the way Silvio did last year, where by March you have more trust in him?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no question, no question. He can do that. You know, David has a different skill set than what Silvio has, but I think that, you know, he can certainly do some things to stabilize. You know, you're not going to throw it to him and score as many points, but he can certainly do some things to stabilize the interior, which he's more than capable of doing.
Bill, when you talk about reimagining yourself, I guess, how does that process work? Do you meet with coaches?
Yeah, we have been.
Yeah.
You know, this is kind of, you know, we would be kind of reevaluating ourselves with nothing going on. And with everything going on, we probably hadn't had as much time to do that as what, you know, I remember when Wayne got hurt and broke his hand, I mean, we totally changed everything in a 2-day period. Totally changed everything, and thankfully we did because it stuck with us. But we, you know, we're dealing with dope, we're dealing with doctors, we're dealing with surgeries, we're dealing with travel, we're dealing with mindsets, we're dealing with letting, you know, players didn't even know. When it was released to the media, players didn't even know yet yesterday. So you know, there's other things that we're working with other than just, you know, kind of tweaking. But you know, there's 24 hours in a day, so we still got plenty of time to get some stuff done.
More okay, Bill, with going to kind of the four-guard lineup since you've done it in the past before, as opposed to maybe a couple years ago?
Yeah,
you kind of had to.
Yeah. Well, we're actually better playing four guards. You know, and if you can put Frank and Josh and Svi and Devontae out there, I think it's damn good, us playing four guards. But the thing about it is, you know, this isn't anything different. I mean, we just got to, you know, amazing to me, look at the rebound advantage we have the other day, playing small. I mean, it was a beatdown on the glass, playing small. Now, a lot of those are misleading because they're long shots, long rebounds, only guards can get those and stuff like that. But still, though, I mean, there were some things that we did that was positive, even though we played small. But our offense was just horrendous. It was just brutal, stagnant. We had nowhere to go. So those are the things I think we need to tighten up more than anything.